Yeah, it's been a process, and I think our kids understood that. At first I didn't know if they understood that there's going to be a process, and it's just when you come from a different program, it's always going to be a little different. And I think the kids, it took them a while to grasp on what we're trying to do. Our practices are going to be physical, and we're going to move with fast tempo, get from spot to spot. And I think it took them a while to understand that. And I remember blowing the whistle over and over, uh, making them do up downs just because they didn't quite understand our tempo. And I've seen our kids get better and better every week. And I could see it after week one. I could see our practice got better. Week two, we played, we got better. We played one of the best teams in the valley, and it was 13-0 at half, and we had a chance. Our defense was playing well. We still had a chance. I made a call, went for it on 4th and 1, didn't get it, and they drive down and score. If we punt it, we still have a chance. But I felt like I believed in the kids and they were going to get it done. And if the same situation arose, I'd do the same thing. And I told them that. And then week three, we got better. We moved the ball better, and the score was not indicative of the way our kids played. We went in at halftime. I think we were down 28-0, and I was talking to the kids, and I told them, I said, you have two choices. You're either going to go out there and go fight, or you're going to stay in here and not fight at all. And they came out, and our defense played well, our offense played well. We just had a couple turns quite happen for us. Well, this week, I could see us getting better. Our practice, Friday, I just had a great feeling, and the kids had a great feeling, and our defense played well, and our offense moved the ball well. Really, we just couldn't put it in the end zone. But just watching them progress into what they're into right now, it's been awesome. Like I told the kids yesterday, it's open week. It doesn't mean it's off week. The only day off we have is on Sunday. We have to get better. Our backs are against the wall, and we all have a goal. We all want to win, and we all want to be better. Not necessarily win, but we want to be better than what we were yesterday. So in order to do that, you have to work. And I was hard on them yesterday, and had a pretty tough workout. So they understand that if you want to be a Bobcat, you're gonna have to work. It's not just we're gonna have to earn the right.
I remember the first time we came out here, we're just dragging and we're coming out, and then the coach is like, "Let's go," and we're like, "Well, what's going on? Like, where are we going?" And when we finally got out there, it was like up downing all the time. I was like, "What are we doing?" And it's because we didn't even know how fast the tempo was these coaches that were putting on us. But over the week, after every week, we got better and better, and it was working. I mean, you felt better and more in shape, and it was a lot better than these past years.
I think offensively, our coaches have done a great job of teaching our kids, getting them to believe in what we're doing. I think it's an offense that when we were at Permian, we ran it, and Brandon Faircloth, who's now at Fort Natchez Grove, it's kind of a the offense we got from Urban Meyer at Florida. We went down to Florida and visited him for about a week, and kind of evolved from there. And it's something I've been used to doing, and and I think our coaches really bought into it. So when our coaches bought into it, our kids are going to buy into it, and it's a process. We're still a long ways of where we need to be, and we know that, and we're honest with the kids, and we tell them that we're going to be better next week than we were this last week. We move the ball. We just haven't put it in the end zone. We move the ball well. Nathan rushed. I don't know how many rushes he had, but he rushed for 79 yards. And then we had another running back that rushed for about 50 yards. So I think we moved the ball. We threw the ball well. We just never got it in the end. We have two sophomore O linemen that are starting, and one junior O lineman that's starting. So I think, and a junior quarterback that's never played quarterback. So I think it's going to take time. Defensively, those guys are just, they're just playing well together. Our defense squad has done a great job of keeping it simple, and this last week they're flying around and being physical. We had 2 or 3 starters out, and those guys came in together, and they just decided to play, and not worry about who's in. We always talk about we're not going to worry about who's in. It's the next man up. I think in order to be a great football team, you have to have a defensive mentality.
Offensively, well, everything's a lot newer. The signs, the going out there, and the coaching staff, and I mean, we have great coaches on both sides, offense and defense. And offense, when we go out there, the defense always comes and brings it to us, and they tell us we got to toughen up, and they're right. And every time we go out there, there's young. We have a young team. It's a young offense. We just go out there and we hit them in the mouth. We're not scared. They're just pretty much they're tougher than us. They're toughening us up every day.
The boom. About it. He loved into the physical and the mental aspect of the game. We talk about being mentally focused, mentally prepared, being mentally tough. And me, I tell the coaches this all the time. I think we can make kids tough. I really do. I think you got to coach them tough. But in order to coach them tough, you got to build relationships with them. And I honestly believe that. I can remember being a high school kid, not being very physical, but my coach was one of the toughest I've ever had, and he made me tough. And I think, it's all how you coach a kid. If you do it the right way, I think you can make him tough. And Nathan's a young man that gets up here at 6 a.m. every morning and works out. That's why he's able to take the shots that he takes. That's why he's able to run hard. That's why he's durable. In practice, he's the same way he plays in the game. And he gets a little mad in practice, which is okay, which it's just fine. And, he's not going to take anything from anybody in practice. And I think that's a mentality that we need to have. I'm on him pretty hard. And he'll tell you that. I'm pretty hard on him. But I also know what his potential is. And my expectations are a lot higher for him than they are for himself. I promise you that. And like I told the coach the other day, you coach kids to be tough, they'll be tough. But you have to do it every day. It's not something you do every once in a while. You do it every day.
I really appreciate how Coach brings former Bobcats to talk to us before every game. It's really something that we see differently, and we see how they love the game and how they love the Bobcats no matter what the record is, how it's going. They're gonna go and they're gonna just keep cheering us on, and we're gonna keep going. And when those guys come out, it's awesome just to see them how pumped they are just to come out, and they can't play. They know they can't put on the pads anymore, but they're still pumped and they love it.
Edinburg High is the original high school of Edinburg, Texas, and so there's a lot of people that live here that are former Bobcats, and I think that's what makes it a special place. There've been great coaches before me, great athletes before Nathan, guys that played at Notre Dame, played at the University of Texas. There's a lot of tradition here, and I think that's what makes it special. Our community really wants to see us be successful. And I think I've tried to talk to the kids about that, about people are really behind you. They really are. And talk to them about, in order for that to happen, in order for us to be successful, we have to change the culture. What you've been used to is not what you're going to be doing. We're going to actually do right in the classroom, carry ourselves in a different manner, understand that people are going to view us differently, and they're going to expect more out of us. So our work ethic is going to be second to none. Our character is going to be second to none, and we're going to give back to our community. And we've done several community service projects to help our community out, because our kids understand the importance of our community and how much they support us. I think our community really does a great job of supporting us. We've had a great fan base. And I think it's a unique place in that sense that no matter what, 90% of people, or I should say 90% of people, but 80% of people in Edinburg, Texas, at one time were Bobcats. And that's pretty neat. And I think, just doing stuff like that, our kids have helped change the culture. Our classrooms are better. Our halls are better. It's just the whole environment has changed. And people ask me, what do you mean by culture, Coach? Well, it's a lot of things. It's the community. It's a school. You're making a difference in the lives of not only kids at the school or your teammates, but people in the community. And I think that's very important. But it doesn't start unless we understand that we have to have great character. And our kids have done a great job of doing that.
Well, it's gonna take time. I mean, the seniors are already used to that slow tempo and that stuff. They're not used to these coaches, and we're getting used to them, and we're gonna be with them for a couple of years, so it's gonna be a lot better. And we're just getting together, and we're like, we gotta listen, we gotta do this. Do we want to win? and we have to listen to them because they know different experience about what's going on, and just getting together and talking with each other, not only as just the offense and defense group, but as everybody as a family. And that's what we've been trying to do. We're just trying to get together and just maybe do sprints after practice just because, and just working out in the morning just because, and just getting together. As coach says, we gotta work. And we're not the biggest and we're not the strongest, but we're gonna be working.
I think one of the things that when we first came in, we talked about as coaches. It's easy to come in and say, okay, we're going to change the culture. But number one, you have to have the kids buy into what you're going to do. And I think, one thing that coaches have done is build relationships with our kids. And I think it became real evident in the spring to me that our kids were buying into what we were doing. Because we started doing community service, and we held a softball tournament for kids that didn't, special needs kids. Special Olympics type thing. And we had a lot of kids show up. We had like 40 kids show up, and it was awesome. And then we also, I took Nathan and a few other players to feed the less privileged. We took them to a park in McAllen, and they stood in a line and they fed people that would show up, and there was about 60, 70 people that would show up, and they got to see firsthand that it's not as hard as you think it is. There's people that have it a lot worse than you. And what it did is brought us closer together. And then we did a drive for school supplies for our elementary schools. So players were bringing school supplies so we could take to the elementaries. And I think that, and that's one thing I try to talk to them about. Football's football. And I love football. I love it. But what kids need to understand is what they learn from football. It's a tough sport, and it's a physical sport, and that's what I love about it. But the number one thing they need to understand is they need to learn about giving, having a service heart, giving to others, making a difference in someone else's life. And it's something that we try to stress a lot of. I think sometimes you forget about, you get lost. That gets lost in the wins and the losses, and trying to get better to be a better football player. But I think the number one thing should be becoming a better person. When I've asked them to show up, we're going to do a walk for kids with dyslexia in 2 weekends, and we're not going to have workouts that Saturday. I'm going to let the team go just to go be a part of it, and I think that's something that they're grasping onto, and what it's done, it's brought us closer together. And that's what I tell them all the time. It's not Coach Escobar. It's you're the ones that are doing it. You're the ones that are making it. You're the ones that are changing the culture. I'm not out there doing what you do. You're the ones that are acting right in class. You're the ones that are making sure you're carrying yourself away from school. I mean, you're the ones that are making those choices, not me. You got it. One thing. The boomstick is what we call it. It's our defense coordinator did it at his previous spot. Our teacher painted it up, and anytime we have a kid make a physical type play, whether it's a block and a pancake or a chop or just a hard hit, we write their name on there. And at the end of the year, what we'll do at the banquet, whoever's name's on there the most will get the bat. And what they do is we have a kid that's on a boomstick 2 times for 1 game. He'll carry it out with him when we run out of the tunnel, and he'll take it to our principal, and our principal will hold it throughout the game. And our principal, she's really, she loves football. She's a Bobcat. I mean, she loves the Bobcats, and she loves our kids. She's at every game. She's at every practice. I think I might have told you this earlier, but she could probably be an assistant coach. But if I did that, she'd probably fire me, and then she'd be the head coach. So I don't want to do that. But she's right there, and she loves the kids, and she loves Bobcat football. So in that little video that they show, I presented to one of the kids that had a great game, and he was fired up about it. He loved it. One thing we've done is get the honorary captain, and what we've done is I let them come and they'll walk out with the captains to the coin flip, and there's a little bio that they'll talk about them. You know, our first captain, wide receiver that played under Lou Holtz at Notre Dame, won a national championship. He played receiver here, was an all-state receiver here at Edinburg High. Uh, Played for Coach Flores, who's one of the legends here at Bobcats, and then the next one was Paul Osbury, who was a punter, all-state punter, played offense and defense. Was Played in the NFL, played for the Cowboys, played for the Eagles. He's now the junior high coordinator at Brewster Junior High, one of our junior highs here, and he's a Bobcat. I mean, that guy will tell you he's a Bobcat. He also gave on Thursdays we have somebody come in and speak to the kids in the afternoon, and he was our speaker for that evening, and he did a great job. And those are a couple guys that we've had, and they love it. And I think it's been something that's pretty neat. Reaching back to our community and letting them know that we're embracing the tradition. I'm not worried about starting a new tradition. It's not about me. It's about embracing the old tradition and starting a new tradition.
Can when they come and talk to us, we realizing young that we can do it and we can just keep going, and we should just do stuff and not regret it. Because whenever we're out of high school after senior year, there's only so many games we have, and then that's it. And it's just awesome to be able to have them come and talk to us and help us look forward and be like, man, we should really do stuff now, because later on we're gonna want to be back here.
These kids are amazing. They really are. The kids are something else. They're real resilient. They've been through a lot, and they've been through a split where a lot of kids left and went to the other school, and it's kind of still there. But our kids have been real resilient, and they've taken that mentality where it's us against the world, and that's the mentality we need to have. And I tell them all the time, it's time to put your hard hat on, roll your sleeves up. It's time to go to work, and that's all we're gonna do. That's all we can do, and let the chips fall. What's really been neat about this whole thing, this whole process, this is my first head coaching job. The kids, this is what kind of kids we coach, and we're blessed to coach these young men. When I came in the locker room, the kids were like, "Coach, that was for you. MVP, you're the MVP. That's for you, Coach." And and I wasn't excited at my first win. Hopefully there's going to be more. But that they were thinking about me other than themselves. And I think that's a big step. And in my mind, I was thinking, man, I'm so happy for these young men. They deserve it. They've worked really hard. They had to learn to trust new people. And they've done that. And they've gone through a lot of process, a lot of transition. And for them to be able to be resilient and believe in us and trust us and love us the way we love them and trust them, it's kind of a neat combination. And that's when I thought, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about you. But the first thing that came to my mind was, it's amazing how those kids are like, "Coach, that's for you." And that's when I realized, these young men, I don't know how many games we're going to win, but I will never forget these young men. They're always going to be someone that I remember, from the seniors all the way down to the sophomores. This team in itself would be a team I will always remember because of what they've had to overcome.
Yeah, I just want to say it's awesome. We're so blessed to be the first group of kids that this coach, that our new coaching staff gets to coach. I mean, we're the first group that they're going to remember. And it's nice. I like it. It's awesome.